Hello and welcome to Actually. Today we'll be looking at language shift and multilingualism in Sydney. Language shift is the process where one language displaces another in the linguistic repertoire of a community, while multilingualism is the use of two or more languages by a community or individual. In 2006, Sydney had the highest overseas-born population of all capital cities, and compared to other states has the highest rate of languages other than English spoken at home. So Danielle, what could be the support or reason for the vast multilingualism in Sydney?
Migrant-run businesses are one of the main influences. Studies find that within a Sydney produce market, migrants tend to use their native language when speaking to each other and other customers of the same linguistic background. However, the overarching language of the market was Australian English.
A reason for this overarching theme of Australian English could be the government's expansion of their Equity for English strategy amongst all immigrants and migrant communities in Sydney. So this means this English for all mentality put forth by the Australian Sydney government could be the reason that English is the common language amongst these different migrant groups.
Excellent. 25% of all Sydney councils and suburbs are almost monolingual, with English being the dominant use in the area. With significant increases in migration and heritage language use, why are these pockets of Sydney shifting to monolingualism?
So a reason for this can be that languages are not currently compulsory at primary schools, with only 30 to 40% actually running a program, and even fewer running languages that are of the demographic. This is a shame, as it is during the optimal age of language acquirement, and lots of children don't encounter a language till 7 to 10, and even fewer continue it through the age of 6, fostering monolingualism.
Further, we have that English proficiency was the largest contributing factor towards employment rates amongst migrant groups, specifically in the Asian or Middle Eastern region. I believe, Daniela, you can elaborate on this?
Yeah, among first-generation migrants, those who had higher levels of English proficiency had higher chances of employment. This demonstrates the necessity of language shift towards English in order to maintain financial stability.
Excellent. English is the de facto language in Sydney. What support is there to assist with community and heritage language maintenance?
The home environment is a big support system, particularly when both parents speak the same language or if grandparents are found within the household. Sydney does not have a second dominant language, so when children enter the education system, it has been found that their proficiency in their home language drops.
Another reason is the City of Sydney has a cultural diversity strategy which focuses on multiculturalism and diversity in language. Based on 3 principles, it focuses on the belief that multicultural society is free of discrimination, fosters community harmony. Residents, workers and visitors will be respected, valued regardless of their cultural, linguistic or religious backgrounds. And further, the City of Sydney aims to be inclusive and culturally and linguistically sensitive in terms of all of its processes and services.
Great. What are some of the findings that have analysed multilingualism in Sydney, and what does this say about people who are bilingual?
So it has been found that cultures who are similar to Anglo-Australians have a higher rate of proficiency in English, but tend to lose their cultural language by the second generation. Cultures such as the Macedonians, Greeks and Muslims have better language attainment by the third generation, suggesting that cultural heritage is a key factor in this situation.
So on top of this, language education has often followed the language shift in Sydney. So in the 1980s, it reflected the trade agreements that we had with Asian countries, and those languages were then taught at schools. Similarly, in the 90s, they were taught Indonesian and Korean, and more recently we're focusing on Arabic and Indian languages as they are the most common to be found.
Okay, so thank you for listening to us today. Throughout our talk today, we have discussed economic, political, educational, socio-cultural and demographical factors contributing to multilingualism and language shift within Sydney. This research contributes to other linguistic areas, discovering new language varieties and analysis. Thank you for listening to
Actually.